All right, welcome to the awareness section of this course. This is the first of 3. We're going to be focused on awareness for the next 3 weeks, and this is kind of the overview to set that up. And super excited because on this journey of owning your greatness, we found that it really does kind of begin with awareness.
Yeah. So why awareness? So for me, I realized there was a quote by a guy named Ian Cron who talked about that most people are just sleepwalking through life. The most natural thing in the world for us is to go into autopilot. It's just kind of how your brain works. Too much information, too many choices. So let's just kind of have the same day on repeat. And he said, if you're not careful, you'll sleepwalk your whole life away. And that a lot of growth is simply waking up. And so at some point I felt like I was literally waking up. Like, is this what I want to do? Is this how I want to do it? Am I happy? I hadn't even asked those questions. And days were turning into weeks, weeks turning into months and years. And so some things that stuck out to me. One is this Mary Oliver quote, which she says, so is this what you want to do with your one wild and precious life? And it was just such an evoking question. Like, I got this one wild and precious life. Am I even spending it the way I want to? Yeah. Thoreau said that most men lead lives of quiet desperation. When he said that, I was like, I wouldn't even use those words, but then once he said it, I could not see it.
Yeah.
Quiet desperation. Like, everyone expects us to be okay. And what if you're not? Like, how hard that is to admit that and talk about that, right? Yeah. And so the beginning of growth for me was just being aware, like, slow down, ask questions, sometimes not have answers even immediately, but be willing to kind of sit in that space until the truth emerged, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes, and I think when you're young, there's a lot of ambition and energy, that you kind of have that can sort of delay some of this.
Yeah.
But then as you get through life, you make some of those big decisions, it seems like some things can catch up. And it might be a big disappointment, something goes totally wrong, or it might just be some patterns, or you just can't seem to figure something out. But for whatever reason, I think as you get through some life as an adult, you start to become aware that there's some things that I'm dealing with, I'm struggling with. Yeah. And I know for me, I just couldn't shake. Like, I'm sad, and I've got these frustrations, disappointments. I don't even know what the sources of them are necessarily. It's like these negative emotions, and I can't seem to get rid of them, and I can't ignore them anymore. Yeah. Like the ego, the ego and the ambition is kind of worn off to where I just can't ignore some of this stuff.
Yeah. No, I think there's a power in naming it. Like, I'm naming, like, the scales have fallen from my eyes. I'm like, man, my marriage isn't where I want it to be, or my career isn't.
Yeah, I'm not
making. Like there's something in my soul that's like nagging, and it's trying to talk to me, and like I'm going to just honor and give it space. Yeah. And if I have language for it, like I think that's really powerful when we start to share, with our friends. Like, hey, this is actually the feeling.
Yes.
This is actually the thing that's making me sad. Like, getting specific with it is tied to that awareness, I think, just like, wow. And you actually feel better. I think just naming it. Like, okay, this hasn't changed. I have no strategy, but like, I actually feel like a breath of relief that I can at least name what I've become aware of.
Yeah. And I think just to end this, to get you ready, in business, there's this phrase, which is you can't manage what you can't measure. And I think in personal growth, you could say you can't change what you can't see, right? And so if we don't have the ability to name it, to see it, then nothing's going to change. But the fear sometimes is, if I see it and if I name it, what if I can't change it? Well, that's what this course is here for. It's like, you don't need to be afraid of whatever you're waking up to. Whatever you wake up to, we've got enough hope for you, and we've got some steps for you, starting with awareness. So let's get rolling on your awareness journey.